All right, let's get into one of the weirdest and, frankly, one of my favorite stories from Roman history. It's got an emperor, a bankrupt empire, and a tax that might just make you look at your bathroom a little differently.
So the whole thing really boils down to this one Latin phrase, Pecunia non olet. And what that means is, money does not stink. Now that's a pretty famous saying, but trust me, where it comes from is so much stranger than you'd ever guess.
I mean, think about it. Why would anyone, especially a Roman emperor, have to go around saying that money doesn't smell? Well, the answer is surprisingly literal. It's an amazing story about imperial economics, and believe it or not, a little family drama.
Okay, so to really get why this bizarre tax even existed, we've got to go back and look at the situation in ancient Rome at the time. The empire was in trouble, big trouble.
When our guy, Emperor Vespasian, shows up on the scene in 69 AD, the Roman Empire is basically broke. I mean, the treasury is completely empty. Things are a mess, and he is desperate to find new ways to get cash flowing, just to keep the whole operation from falling apart.
So, what do you do when you're staring down financial ruin? Well, if you're Vespasian, you get creative. Really creative. He decided to bring back a tax that was so out there it had actually been tried and gotten rid of before.
You heard that right. Vespasian started taxing pee. Specifically, he taxed the collection and sale of urine from Rome's public latrines. You see, people would relieve themselves into these big pots, and then collectors would come by, empty them, and sell the contents.
And I know what you're thinking, because I thought it too. Why on earth would anybody pay for pee? Was there some kind of booming, taxable market for human urine? And the answer, shockingly, is yes, absolutely. It sounds nuts to us, but urine was actually a super important chemical resource in the ancient world. The ammonia in it was a fantastic cleaning agent. It was used for all sorts of things, from tanning leather to cleaning and even whitening those famous Roman togas. It was a stinky business, but a vital one.
So, let's be super clear here. Vespasian wasn't posting guards at the bathrooms and taxing people for using them. No, he was taxing the businesses, the tanners, the cleaners, the laundry workers, who were buying the collected urine as a raw material for their trades.
And you know what? The tax totally worked. It helped refill Rome's empty coffers. But not everybody was thrilled about it. And this is where we get to the legendary showdown that gave us our famous phrase.
Vespasian's own son, Titus, who was going to be emperor himself one day, was completely embarrassed. He went to his dad and basically said, "This is disgusting. Raising money from pee is beneath the dignity of Rome and the emperor."
Now, the story goes, as told by the historian Suetonius, that Vespasian didn't even argue. He just took a gold coin that came from that very tax, held it right up to his son's nose, and asked him a simple question: "Does this offend you? Does it smell bad?" And of course, Titus sniffed the coin and had to admit, no, it was a gold coin. It smelled like, well, it smelled like money. It didn't smell like anything else.
And that's when Vespasian dropped the mic with one of the greatest lines in history. He looked at his son and said, "And yet, it comes from urine." The point was made. The origin of the money didn't change what it was worth. Money, quite literally, did not stink.
This one incredible lesson has echoed for centuries. But Vespasian's connection to this tax actually goes way deeper than just a clever saying.
So today, when people say Pecunia non olet, they're tapping right into that moment between father and son. It's used to mean that the value of money isn't changed by where it came from, no matter how dirty or unsavory the source might be. But the story has one more fantastic twist. In a perfect bit of historical irony, Vespasian's name would end up being permanently stuck to the very thing he was taxing.
Get this, for hundreds of years, public urinals in France were called Vespasiens, and in Italy they're still sometimes called a Vespasiano. The emperor's own name became slang for a public toilet. How funny is that?
And here's an actual photo of one of those structures, a so-called Vespasian. It's just an amazing legacy when you think about it. The emperor who saved the Roman treasury with a pee tax is now forever remembered by the object of that tax.
And that just leaves us with Vespasian's timeless and, let's be honest, very practical question. He proved that you can get good, clean money from a very dirty source. But it makes you think, doesn't it? Is he right? Does the origin of our money ever really matter? Something to chew on.